Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor. And this is late. This is late because we're frozen in. I mean, seriously, it rained like about 2 inches and then went to 20-something degrees. And down here around Memphis, we're just not used to it. So apologize, but no internet for a while. And but anyway, we'll hence with the weather report and go straight in to the NXT review for January 31st, and it's all setting up for Vengeance Day. So hey, they start off with the Creed brothers going against Veer and Sangha with Jinder Mahal. I guess what they call that, Indus. But the match was good. These were some heavyweights going at it. And at the start, it seemed like Veer and Sangha did not know how to properly take care of the double team after they tag. But they figured it out. They got it going, and they put out some, when you don't have the big ability yet in the ring, you have to do what looks best and what goes best with you. So big clotheslines, big slams, and stuff like that. But these guys are good. They have to get more time climbing just in between. I think they need to spend so much of their training every day just going in and out of the ropes, because with that dress-like outfit that they had on and everything, it caused them to look a little strange going in and out of the ropes, a little awkward, because they're just so freaking big. Well, Sangha is just so freaking big, so these were some big power bombs, man, and everything. But in the end, Jinder gets involved, the modern-day Maharaji. Gets involved, and he's on the apron. So Ivy gets up there, and during the match, Julius gets thrown into the ropes, and when he does, he hits Ivy. Ivy goes down. Brutus, of course, goes over to check on her, causes chaos in the match, which causes a distraction, which means a vicious clothesline to Julius, and then they close them out. It's just, look, these guys, this was a good match, and this could go on. I mean, because these guys are just so big. And look, when Julius or Brutus, and Brutus, if I remember right, Brutus didn't get defeated in his NCAA career, Division I. Now that's a heck of a statement. So these guys just look so good working. I could see them getting better, and better. And then they cut a promo with Axiom and Tyler Bate, and Damon Kemp shows up, and there's some mention of a kid, and then there's just some little oddness in this, and so it looks like Tyler and Axiom are going to have a match, but Damien was involved in this, so we'll see. But after that, they go into a Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell match. Now, Zoe was just in the Royal Rumble, and so was Indy, but Zoe, I think, lasted 30 minutes. And she did a pretty good showing of herself, I thought, and I really like Zoe as the bad, on the bad side. She's got, how would you put it? She's got it. It just needs to be refined. But But Indy, man, Indy's tough, man, and she's got such a good offense. And she sells good, too. So, I mean, and the promo leading up to this was pretty good because they involved Solo in there. So, Zoe, they had a good little promo leading up to it. So, they just big moves. The main thing comes down to Indy trying to make a move off the top rope, Zoe recognizing it, hitting the ropes, making her fall, which sets her up for a big knee to the head. And you never do good after a big knee to the head, but then she decides to jump on Indy after the match, and that allows Soul to come out. So, here we go. They go into a schism little promo with about the tag team championships, 4 roots, 1 tree. And so they do that. And then the king of the promos in the NXT, Apollo. Since he's been involved in NXT, it's restaurants, cafes, there's walking, there's riverside or lakeside, there's just, and now it appears he's on the top of a building, talking about, of course, Vengeance Day coming up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the 2 out of 3 match he has with Mello, and he's visualizing the future. But man, the graphics, man, it's when they do these cutaway promos like that to a different location, it's like a movie. It's a clip, but anyway, and then after that you got Wesley, the North American champ, coming out, and he's talking his talk and walking his walk. But you got Dijak. Dijak shows up, and Dijak was letting him know, man, you could have cut out a lot of hurt if you'd have just give me the belt. And Wes lets him know. He does his best little, small guy routine, and but then Mr. Wagner, Mr. Von Wagner, Mr. Stone come out. And so they all think that who's the biggest and baddest in NXT, Who is? So, you know what that means. We got to have a match. We got to have a match. So, and then you got to put Wes on commentary since he's out there, But this was a good match. Both these big guys, fall away slams, even during the pick and pick, even during the picture in picture. They were going at it, the headlock armbar thing that Dijak does, not really a big fan, but in this match was one of the big highlights when Vaughn goes to choke slam Dijak and he flips out of it, or not cartwheels out of it, but he goes up and he lands on his feet. Let's put it that way. It's a must-see, a good move for a big guy. It was a good match. I like the big guys out there. Don't I like the Creed brothers and Veer and Sunga earlier, and I like this one. I'd hate it for Vaughn because Dijak ends up winning this move with like this strange little armbar headlock kind of thing he does, or whatever, and I think I've seen somebody use it before. Well, I know I have, and I just think it looks different the way Dijak does it. But in the end, he kind of puts him in like a half submission move, and stands him up over by the ropes and looks right over to Wes with Mr. Stone down on the floor right then. And he pretty much says, this is what's pretty much your future. And, of course, he wears, Vaughn down. Vaughn's weak. Then he puts a finishing move on him. And, bam, Dijak wins the match. So, it was really good. And right about then, it's strange, right about then, I hear this loud, and the power goes out at Mullet Manor. And so I'm getting bits and pieces, and I'm going back and watching it and putting things together as far as trying to get this together, because we were, not by candlelight, but we were, by security lights and stuff. The generators come on and stuff, but this is what I gather after that you've got Tony D and Stacks, they're still wanting to get back at Jack, and Tony's like, look, man, I got some stuff I got to take care of. Let me just fix everything and get my stuff taken care of, and don't worry. There's no expiration date on Dijack's, that steel or iron justice, whatever the heck he's doing. Okay. They got to have Tony D and Stacks in there because they're definitely building with them. And then you got Mackenzie Mitchell. You got her out there breaking down the tape of Nikita Lyons getting attacked. And she's putting anybody on spot that she can. But this is the one thing that looked a little odd. There was a lot of women wrestlers there at the same time. What, did every women's wrestler, did all the ladies show up at one time? Did they ride a bus and then get in their car? I mean, what the heck happened? Because there's so many twist and turn, different people walking away and getting out of their car and going to their car and walking from their car. It just, and if you're a conspiracy theory, you can tape that clip and go to town because there's so many different ways and so many different people. Who did it? Who killed JR? Who did it? I'm sorry. Come on. But then they go into you got a little spot with Waller and Braun, kind of chronicling the journey to the match coming up at Vengeance. So good little spot that they have there. They do they just do a great job on any of the technical stuff or any of that like that. So you got that, and then they go into the match, which is Tyler Bate and Big Strong Boy against Axiom. And this is a banger match. Tyler never disappoints. And Axiom, if he's had a bad match that I've seen, I don't remember it. So these guys, this is a must. You watch if you're only going to be able to watch a few matches. If your time restraints are at that, I would have to recommend maybe putting this one first, and then the big guys on the last two. But look, man, these guys tear it up. Axiom, whenever you think he's out of it, he's back in. He's got counters. Look, they do a bridge up. The bridge up to where that's a hard enough move in itself. Okay? That's a hard enough move in itself. But Axiom changes arms in mid-lift. And so that's going to alter your weight. It's going to, man, that is not easy. I don't even care. I don't care if you know it's about to happen. It's not an easy move. But they pull it off, man, and Tyler ends up winning the match. But then you got DK. You got Damon Kemp coming out there and jumping on Axiom. So you know what's in the future. And Damon Kemp, I like him too. I don't know why they're not using him a little bit more. I'm sure it's probably just time-wise, but he looked impressive the last few times I saw him. So you've got Ala Dawn and Alba Fire with their little spot, and then you got Mello and Trick. You're gonna have to have Carmelo out there, man, and Trick, because they're just good with the stick, and they do a good promo, and they're always on point. Trick knows his role, and Carmelo's good. So, of course, they're speaking about Apollo. And, it's a good little spot there. But then they go. Then they go into Roxanne Perez and Toxic Attraction with, JC and Gigi. And they're on a split screen, like they're in different studios. And, of course, the veterans of this particular venture here are definitely Toxic Attraction. So they keep over-talking and just, over-speaking over Roxanne. And she's that timid little shy girl. So she gets stepped on and stepped on and stepped on, and then finally she pulls the mic off and looks like she's walking out of the interview. And of course that sends Toxic into a freaking uproar where they're really going off on the champ. This is how the champ acts and everything. And then out of the blue, who do you see come flying in the screen but Miss Roxanne Perez? She comes in there and starts throwing whoopings down on both of the girls. So, hey, good little deal. And then you got Fallon Henry. And she kind of hears Kiana James on the phone, and Kiana says that she loves someone or something to that effect, and so Fallon comes up and is like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew you were going to break Bridget's heart, And so at about that time, though, here come the Lady Champs. So the Lady Champs come up and say that, look, y'all can't even get along outside, so what are you going to do at Vengeance Day? What's going to happen. They're going to leave with the straps. But the ladies come back and say that, they lay it out there. It's a pretty good little spot. The Ladies Champs, a little mini version of Rock and Roll Express. Need more mic work. And you got Drew Gulak going against Charlie Dempsey. And old Charlie, I like old Charlie. And but this is a pretty good match. They're both kind of mat wrestlers. They're both old school, that style counter. Almost catch as catch can. Good match. And it lasts for a while with some good back and forth moves. Dempsey keeps trying to get the chicken wing on him, and they go back and forth, and I really like it. And then it gets down towards the end of the match. Drew starts getting the better, okay, and it's just that Dempsey can't quite get his hands together when he's trying to put this chicken wing together, and so they're over, much like to where Dijak earlier ended Von Wagner looking at Wes Lee. This was that kind of version with Drew telling Hank Walker, hey, you watching this? You watching this? And then he throws Charlie into Hank. They butt heads. Charlie's a little disoriented. Drew small packages them up, and there is the win. Folks, so that is how that one goes. Let me see. Oh, okay. Now, it's evident that I'm a Von Wagner fan. I think that he can eventually is going to work into something. I just see it. In him. And I think he can carry a storyline. I really think he's that good. He's just raw talent. But in this segment, they cut to the locker room, and Vaughn is upset. And he's flipping a couple benches, very politely in anger. And then I think Mr. Stone does his version, Academy Award winning version of help me help you. you know, and he's like, man, I've managed you now for over a year or whatever it was, and I just don't know you. I know you're big and I know you're bad, but I just don't know you. And I think he does a good job portraying emotion in this, and he keeps repeating at the end of this spot, help me, help you. You got this? Let's all say it together. Help me, help you. I thought it was a good spot. Hey, you know, shoot me down. You know, whatever it may be, but this is all leading into a three-way tag for a chance at Vengeance Day to be in the four-way tag, I believe it is. I believe this will decide the fourth person in, and it's against Chase U with Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. And then you got Anafi and Blade, and of course you got Schism. You know, and it's the qualifier, you know, for the last spot. So here we go. Now, let me just start. I'm just going to go ahead and go midway through to the match and go, Anafi and Blade are freaking bad. I mean, they are off of the ropes. Look, Montez Ford has got a frog splash and a couple moves. Anyway, off the top rope, Montez is required by FAA. I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but he's required to notify the FFA when he leaves the top rope. Well, and I'm not altogether sure of Anafi and Blade's track and field background. I don't know if they have any. I'm not sure. I'm sure that somebody's probably going to let me know they were whatever. But still, they fly. Man, these guys are talented. And Schism, you got to have a worker. You got to have a grunt guy in the middle. You got to have the guys that show up and show bright lights, and then they sell. And that's what Schism did. Quality job. And Chase U sold, you know, what they could do. You know, they sold. Duke does pretty good. He doesn't sell that good. Chase just is kind of, Andre is just a little off, but Dyad and Anafi and Blade do great. I mean, it was a good match. It was a good match. But man, you think Anafi and Blade, they're about to give them a push, right? You know, because they come off the top ropes, like one gets on one corner and it's a frog splash, and the other guy gets on the other corner and he comes off with a freaking big elbow. And then, of course, everybody comes in and saves that pin. But it just looked like this was going to be their push. You know, it really did. And it Schism, you know, they had a couple spots to where they did do. And you know what? I just think that it was just, I just looked down and just remembered that I think I missed a match. So I'll talk about it after this. But, man, they just kicked butt in this match. Now it ends up with Chase U winning this match. But it was a great match, and Duke ends up winning the match with a double team, and then he gets the pin. But I really liked it. It was a good match. But wait a minute, just something came into my head that I did not speak of, and I know it's that freaking it's the here it is right here. It's the Miss Palmer and Stevie Turner, the podcaster or whatever you want to call her, on her debut, and she was pretty good on this. But this Miss Palmer was no jabroni. She was good to sell, man, had great matches. And that is something that I see that NXT is pretty good about. When they have somebody that's good they're bringing in, they don't make them do the total squash match. You know, Miss Palmer came in there and she looked good. She looked freaking good. I was very impressed with her. Now Stevie gets the good pin, a good solid pin, and makes a good debut. But Miss Palmer impressed me enough that I remembered that in between match. All right, so I apologize for the out of order review on this, but we're under weird circumstances. So on this a little bit shortened version of the NXT review, we're going to go ahead and close it out because I'm afraid it is raining again. And it's like 24 degrees here, I think. So that means our infrastructure is not set up for this. So it should be an interesting night. Anyway it goes, guys. Look, just always remember, rescue when you can, man. And spay and neuter, always. And you know what, man? This is Memphis Mark. And I got to say, I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.